Okay, the Bake Show. Baker Mayfield, friend of the show, coming off an awesome 41 passing touchdown season. So we look at the most fantasy points allowed to opposing quarterbacks. The Atlanta Falcons were fourth on the list, allowing 20 points per game to opposing QBs. And that is a big reason why Matthew Baker Mayfield headlines the love list for QBs.
Well, for sure. We expect, you see there that last year the Falcons allowed 20 points per game to opposing quarterbacks. Well, in the two games against the Falcons last year, Baker Mayfield actually exceeded that average. He averaged 22.9 fantasy points per game. He had 6 touchdowns in those 2 games as well. Again, we've talked about this. We expect fantasy points galore. We expect a lot of fireworks in this game between the Falcons and the Buccaneers. 2 really good offenses, 2 defense that aren't awful, but aren't elite, at least at this stage of the season. So Baker Mayfield, to me, I'm at QB6 this week. I think it's a big game. We'll see how well they run the ball, but I think, as we've talked about Evans and Ibuka, Cade Otton, Baker should have a big game. It's worth noting that they have an implied team total of 24 points. So we're expecting at least 3 touchdowns for Tampa Bay.
Yep, no, I'm with you there. Okay, my guy for the love list, Daniel Jones, my third quarterback in the league of assholes, for better or worse. I think Daniel Jones has become kind of the poster boy for the discrepancy between real life and fantasy value. It's like, he doesn't have to be a top 12 quarterback in the NFL to provide fantasy value. Like Bo Nix is going as QB7. I think anyone thinks Bo Nix is a top 7 quarterback at the moment. But Daniel Jones, he's one of the few quarterbacks who is set in the market for over 20 rushing yards. And that just adds a lot of value. And I think going up against a Miami secondary that has been just decimated by injury, Daniel Jones has got, I think, the best weapons of his career, the best offensive line of his career, perhaps the best play caller of his career, and Shane Steichen as well. I like the matchup here against Miami, Lawrence.
Yeah, it's an opportunity for him. Again, you talk about that 20-yard rushing over-under. He's going to run the ball. That's what he does. Sometimes after the first read, but you talk about that defensive backfield where the only really known name is Minkah Fitzpatrick. They got him back, but Daniel Jones, man, week 1 at the crib.
Yep. All right. Next up on the love list, Matthew, T-Law, which never really accepted as a nickname. But Trevor Lawrence gets a very favorable matchup against one of what we think will be one of the worst defenses in the NFL in Carolina.
Yeah, for sure. We've talked about this game a decent amount as well, that I think this has sneaky shootout potential. Last year, the Panthers allowed the second most fantasy points to opposing quarterbacks. They also gave up the highest completion percentage on deep passes. You can throw deep on the Carolina Panthers, and then you think about a team that's got Travis Hunter on one side and Brian Thomas Jr. on the other. They're going to take some deep shots here with Trevor Lawrence. Much like Daniel Jones, Lawrence underrated in terms of the amount that he uses his legs. He'll get you 20 to 30 rushing yards a game as well. So you see it right there. I have Trevor Lawrence as a top 9 play this week. He makes the love list. He's a QB1 for me this week. Give me T-Law. Give me the hair. I'm jealous of his hair. I'm jealous of his legs. I'm happy to have him on a number of fantasy teams this season.
Okay, other side of that matchup, Lawrence, Bryce Young, the rejuvenated Bryce Young, coming off a great finish to last year.
Yeah, great second half of the season, 20 total touchdowns up against only 8 turnovers in his final 10 games last year. Look, that included games against the Eagles and the Chiefs, and they didn't lose those games because of Bryce Young. They were in the game because of Bryce Young, right? Last year, weeks 10 through 18, he was quarterback 11. So that's a long stretch. That's not just some small sample size. Then you look at the fact they're going up against this Jacksonville Jaguars defense. That's probably why this over-under is set at 47.5. Jaguars defense last year, the 4th worst pass defense. Now, they went to correct that problem, and they drafted the best DB in the draft, Travis Hunter. The problem is he's listed on the depth chart as a backup corner, whereas he's a starter on offense. So whenever Travis Hunter is not on that field, the Carolina Panthers are loving it, and they will take advantage of that. Furthermore, he's got Tirico and McMillan, so I love Bryce Young this week.
Yep, going to be a good fantasy season for Bryce Young. Let's get to the others receiving votes. Matthew, headlined by Drake May. People may not realize this, but the Patriots, their win total is 8.5, -1, 10 each side. So the market expects this team is going to be good, and you think Drake May is going to be good from the get-go.
I think Mike Vrabel's a great coach, and I think Josh McDaniels is a very good offensive coordinator. And what's he going to do? I think he's going to get Drake May on the move using his legs. He didn't have a lot of design runs last year, but in the 10 games in which he played at least 75% of the snaps, he averaged 36 rushing yards. Again, that was like very little designed runs. They'll use him even more on that. Last season, the Raiders bottom 5 in terms of most touchdown passes allowed. So I think with an improved supporting cast around him, adding Stephon Diggs, Traven Henderson to the backfield, Kayshon Boutte and Kyle Williams, we'll see what else happens there. But I do think Drake May has a big game. So you see it there on your screen. He's my QB 11. And comeback player of the year, Joe Flacco. In 11 starts over the last 2 years, he's averaging over 38 pass attempts per game. Like, he will fling it. He's thrown multiple touchdown passes in 82% of those games. Like, he throws it, he throws a lot. There'll be a pick or two, but given how bad the defense is for Cincinnati and the fact that they're going to be 5.5-point underdogs, Flacco should throw it, and I think he's a viable streamer this week.
Yeah, what's going on in the stadium?
You're about to get blown away, ain't you?
My hair, it's blowing. It's what
That's-
little hair
they
I
messing
have.
up the
It's
fresh
windy
cut.
here.
Feels like Bane is about to blow up the link.
Yeah,
Hopefully
right.
You're okay out
Just
there,
don't
Matthew.
be Heinz Ward running that kick return.
Let's quickly race through the hate list. JJ McCarthy, Matthew.
Yeah, on the road at Chicago, always a tough place to play, making your first start. We talked about it sort of with Jordan Mason, but last year the Bears gave up touchdown passes at the 3rd lowest rate. I think it's a run-heavy script for the Vikings. Don't love him making his first start at Soldier Field.
Okay, and Lawrence, for you, Matthew Stafford with the bad back.
Yeah, much of what you said earlier about this Houston Texans defense, that pass rush with Danielle Hunter. Then you got, oh my God,
Will
I'm drawing a blank. Will Anderson, but the DB, I'm drawing a blank. Derek Stingley, that's going to be tough. But look, Matthew Stafford himself, quarterback 28, weeks 1 through 17 in fantasy points per game last season. So didn't have a great season last year. Going to be tough against the Texans.
Yep, I'll put my man Brock Purdy on the hate list, much to my chagrin. The calendar is not yet ticked over to Brocktober, and I think that Brock Purdy will struggle a little bit against Mike McDonald's defense, which famously got really in his head on Christmas a couple of years ago when McDonald was the Ravens DC. I think there's a good chance that the Seahawks are a top 5 defense this year, and Purdy's pass catch is not fully up to speed, perhaps not fully healthy yet either. So I think Brock Purdy's going to have a great year, but a tough week 1 in Seattle on the road.
Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBCSports.com and RotoWorld.com, and I want to thank you so much for watching whatever it is you just watched, or if nothing else, being too lazy to click out of the autoplay after this video started, after whatever it is you actually wanted to watch finished. But now that you're here, I'd like to take a moment here to ask you respectfully now, okay? I'm asking you respectfully to subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel. You'll get the latest RotoWorld fantasy news headlines, all sorts of great shows, including my own Fantasy Football Happy Hour. So go subscribe now. Again, I'm asking respectfully.